Hello, Internet. I am Richard Arthur John Kevis the First,
Ooh,
and this
that
is
implies
Karl.
they're a second.
There could be someday. I mean, not at the same time. I think it's a Highlander situation. Anyway, welcome to Deep Space and Dragons, where we talk about nerdy crap, or occasionally just soap. Like, it hasn't happened yet, but we will, at some point, just talk about soaps, I'm certain. There's only so many
Some,
topics.
just talk about soap?
Yeah.
You mean
Have
like
you been
Bath
to
and Body
Lush
Works?
recently? There are some quality soaps out there, bro.
Fair.
I am on team hygiene, which is maybe just like a pushback to the societal damage of going to Magic tournaments.
Is that what's new with you? You decided to finally take a shower?
First off, I take like rose petal bubble baths. Like, you know this about me. You know, you'll be like, would like to use the bathroom, but I think he's listening to smooth jazz with candles lit, so I'll go somewhere else. Just go to work and use their bathroom.
You've come so far. I mean, you used to say that you would take a shower and would never admit that you were actually taking a bath.
Yeah, because I got bullied a lot. Like you're trying to do
I should
right
laugh.
now. I'm not saying it's a microaggression. I think it's like a medium aggression.
A medium aggression, not
Yeah,
a macro aggression.
It's like Sasuke's eyebrows level of aggressive.
Ooh.
And not the Boruto Snape eyebrows. So, what's new in the
Okay.
Karlverse?
Oh, well, first things first. My girlfriend, or fiance, she likes the show Dexter.
You know, that should be a
and-
red flag, but it's usually the wholesome people who like the murder shows. Not sure why.
There's so many people who are just fascinated with serial killers, and the first couple seasons of Dexter for sure are really good. A couple hiccups. It overstayed its welcome for me. I never actually finished watching the original series, and I have not watched the sequel series where he has a son that he tries to groom into a serial killer. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like skipping the sequel to like anything gets reboot is just what you should do out of principle.
Yeah, but they recently started airing a prequel series called Original Sin, and
Like the
there's only like 5 episodes so far. It comes out every Friday, and so far I think I'm enjoying it, but I am wondering how long I'm going to be able to enjoy it because, as you've said repeatedly, on and off the podcast, I'm fairly sure, prequel series tend not to really have stakes.
It's such a fascinating problem. Because it's like, I was having a lengthy conversation with someone today about when you make an anime video game, you can either tell the story of the anime, which is kind of boring, or write something original. And then people's brain always goes to, oh, I'll do the first Ninja War, or the 100-Year Blood War, or a prequel of some kind. Well, like, even if you go far enough back that, like, you could just add characters because they'd be dead due to old age anyway, you still
Right.
kind of lose something. Like, I don't think I can think of a single good, like, legitimately good prequel, because I think it's just, like, hard to do.
Well, like I say, I'm enjoying it so far, but it's like he dumped a body in the Florida Keys where it'll get eaten by alligators. And then at the end of the episode, it's like, oh, his hand floated up to the surface. And it's like, yeah, but Dexter literally can't get caught.
Right? Or he kills everyone that catches him in a horrible murder rampage.
Well, yeah, but I mean, most of the characters that are in the police precinct while he's doing his internship are characters that are in the original show. So it's like the majority of the cast is pretty safe.
That is funny.
There's a couple characters I'm like, one of them is played by Sarah Michelle Gellar. I feel like she's gonna die.
What's interesting is, I'm going to retcon my prequel statement a little bit. So prequels can work as a mini-series. So here's 3 prequels that were somewhat decent.
Okay.
The Gojo arc in JJK, with Gojo and Geto falling madly in love and then having a falling out.
Right.
Kakashi's flashback. And... oh, my brain just completely froze. Bardock. The movie. So it's like, if you do a prequel, you can't pick a main character because you're doomed, because nothing interesting can happen. You basically...
Wait. Bardock, like the one where he goes Super Saiyan, he's the original Super Saiyan, or Legend of Trunks?
I'm not gonna dignify that with a response.
I'm just trying to make sure.
How dare you? I believe the exact quote from the abridged version of that. Of all the contrived bullshit. I actually really enjoyed. So they did an abridged episode for the Bardock movie, and the thing that gets him so mad he goes Super Saiyan is how dumb the concept of the movie he's in is. Now that was delightfully meta.
Anyways, you were rambling about prequels?
Nah, I feel like there might be more new with you, maybe, but if not, we can go rambling into prequels. We'll go directly into our episode topic.
Well, I mean, the other thing that's new with me is that, again, my fiance has decided that she really likes the game Disney Villainous.
That is like a quality game, kind of.
Well, it's very good at what it does. It's
an interesting four-player solitaire.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's Disney nostalgia, the game, because there's all these iconic villains, iconic locations,
and also
iconic
the vast majority of LGBT scenes. Disney characters before 2000, because they were all villains.
But
name one straight character on that board.
One straight character on that board.
Scar's so flamboyant, he's in a game called Villainous. And no one bats an eye. It's just like, yeah, Scar should be there with Ursula. That just makes sense.
Villainous. As in someone who does villain-like things. Not the gender-specific villain or villainess.
I'm still mad they're not called nursemen. Note, disclaimer, not my actual take.
So we went to Costco and we found a bundle for Villainous that it was $90. It had 10 villains. I was like, oh sweet! It comes with like the base game and 2 expansions. Now, super fans of the series might realize my mistake already, because most of the expansions come with 3 characters, so that makes 6 for the 2 expansions.
Yeah.
And the actual base game also comes with 6 characters. But the third portion of the bundle that I got only came with 4. And I'm a little bit upset about this because the introduction to evil is the base game minus 2 characters. And those 2 characters have not been reprinted or repackaged in any other form.
But what are the 2 characters? Because this matters.
Jafar and the Queen of Hearts.
Oh, those are good ones. Boo.
I know. And so it's like, I don't want to have to buy the actual base game and get 4 characters that I already have. But you can't find replacement parts on Amazon. And if you try to buy just the Queen of Hearts on eBay to buy all the individual pieces, it's like $90 just for the one character. And that's, you have to like search through and go through different buyers to buy all the different parts. And I'm extremely frustrated with that particular packaging, because like,
they got you.
Why? Yeah. I thought I was getting the base game. Then my siblings come over and they're like, "Oh, you're missing 2 characters." Like, what?
Man, you got.
No, you're right.
You got done dirty.
Yeah, and then like I say, there doesn't appear to be anyway, aside from maybe contacting Ravensburger directly. Or Ravensburg.
I hear good things about the company. It's entirely possible that would work.
Then I might be able to get replacement pieces for a game that I, bought the wrong version, but
yeah, actually,
I don't know.
Be like, I thought this was the complete version because it said complete on it. It's a pretty fair claim.
But regardless, I mean, we got good value, and she's bought most of the other expansions now, so we have a huge collection. The problem is I don't particularly like the game because, like you say, it's 4-player solitaire. And it's like, why am I playing this with people?
I mean, I'm playing my own game. One of those games, though, where it's like, if the game's easy enough, you can like at least like enjoy your company while playing.
Well, yeah, that's definitely the angle I'm taking. Is just that it's a good game to play with people because you can just sit there and chat and do whatever, but
Be with the people.
I just, it's, you don't have much interaction with the other players for their game state, and I find it very difficult, even with my own objective, to know how far or close I am to that objective. And whether or not fading someone is actually the right move, because it's like a 50-50 chance whether or not it's something beneficial to them or if it's actually a detriment to them. It's just,
I mean, nothing will ever beat the game night value that is 3 Dragon Ante. Just poker with dragons. That's true. Perfect game. 10 out of 10.
Anyway, that's enough of me complaining about Villainous. What's new with you there, Richard?
So, as you're aware, and our viewers will not be because they're watching this in no particular order, nor do I put any form of date stamp on these, nor do I release them consistently on my end. But the holidays have happened.
The holidays have happened. Which holidays? You'll never know.
Doesn't matter. What matters is, I decided it was a good idea to try and get an entry into the J Novel Club Light Novel Contest. And I did this by staying up till 4 in the morning every day for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I succeeded at this endeavor. And writing 100,000 words in 2 weeks is not as easy as it sounds. My hands are still recovering. I took actual spiritual damage. So, like, the semester started back up, but, like, I was just kind of in a fugue state for a while, and now that, like, I've been exposed to the cold air and the sunlight, I've, like, become less feral and back to, like, my normal self. But, yeah, no, I was in a writing rage. Like, is absolutely a barbarian used the rage action to write. And it was delightful. Also, at some point, I went out for New Year's, got a mini dice set, watched some fireworks. So good times were had.
I had to work until 4 a.m. on New Year's Eve.
No, we drank a redacted beverage while the Snoopy holiday screensaver went on in the background and then watched the fireworks from a 9th-story balcony. It was pretty great.
I don't even think there were any official fireworks here.
For the context, I'm afraid to step out on the balcony, but it looked nice from my vantage point.
Why are you scared to step on the balcony?
Huh? I'm afraid of heights, dude. I'm afraid of things that would kill me.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's a railing.
Have you met me? What would you say the odds of me falling over a 9th-story railing are, just from my normal day-to-day existence?
Well, your track record is pretty good. You've never fallen off a railing before.
Because I avoid standing near railings because of how clumsy I am. It's the same reason I don't juggle knives, ride a bicycle, or drive a car. Because I'll die.
Now, you were pretty close to being able to drive a car before you moved to Toronto.
Man, the temptation to throw random shade at our driving instructor that will never watch this podcast. Because he was just such a human. And there's so much to say about that man. So much to say about it. A truly gigantic planetary amount. A Snorlax worth of things to say about that person. But on to Show and Jump.
Oh, yeah. On to Show and Jump.
So, I believe our plan is to talk about things that have ended, things that have started, what we like, what we're not reading. But I'm just going to open up with Chainsaw Man's wackadoodle existence. Because, have you read the most recent chapter?
I sure have.
It has my 3 favorite moments in the series so far.
Oh?
Favorite moment the first, when they realize you could just climb in his mouth to shoot somebody.
Right.
Moment the second, when the reaction to fighting the aging devil is, do I still look pretty?
Yeah, okay.
And dropping a giant octopus on somebody. Art. Chainsaw Man, consistently art. Is it good art? I don't know. It's too busy being too edgy and controversial. Well, it's like, you know, a lot of shows pretend to be edgy. Chainsaw Man's actually edgy because it does weird things. Like, pretending to be edgy is like, oh, I was bullied as a kid, and then I, like, jumped off a bridge and woke up in a fantasy world. You're pretending to be edgy. Shut the hell up. What's actual edgy is sticking your whole arm in someone's mouth to shoot somebody. Like, what?
Well, okay, now let's travel back in time a bit. I mean, I do love Chainsaw Man, but in January of 2024, the epilogue chapter of Mashle, Magic and Muscles was released. So I don't know if you consider that technically ending in 2024, or if you would say that it ended in 2023 because it's an epilogue chapter.
But 2024. So I'm going to put out a Richard hot take of the week, which may be a recurring segment. I'll probably forget by next week. Hot take of the week. It is bad when you have to release an epilogue because your ending was so meh. What is it? 4 things that have ended? They're like, actually, here's our actual ending because no one liked that. That's not great. Dragon Ball Z didn't put out an epilogue until they did their 20-year anniversary Son Goku and Pal's luxury barbecue, and that was an anime. It's no, it's done. So I do not respect Mashle's epilogue chapter. Also, Mashle had a good ending.
Yeah, I don't know why there's an epilogue chapter, but it was released in January 2024.
Because the anime's going and you want hype.
Yeah, maybe.
So here's the thing about Mashle. I hated the part where they took Mashle out of Mashle, and I'm not sure I ever liked Mashle. I was amused by Mashle. However, him bicycle swim kicking the island out of the way of the Madara attack was solid. That was a solid ending. It was so stupid, and I did not see it coming until he's like, I got this, and jumps in the water. I'm like, oh snap. It was an oh snap moment. When they decide that I'm supposed to care about the characters with different lines on their face having their 10 battles Bleach style, no. If you're not named Mashle, I don't care. I'm not here for the seriousness. I'm here to watch him kick his legs so fast the broom flies. So,
yeah.
I'm going to say Mashle. If Mashle was 62 instead of 162 chapters, it would have been a good anime.
Yeah, probably.
Actually, even 100. You can have some of your shonen fights. You just didn't need that many because I literally knew no one's names. And you can tell our audiences at home, it's a problem if I don't know anyone's name.
Yeah, that is true.
Me and my friend made a spreadsheet for World Trigger to track all the squad members.
So then the next series that I can say definitively ended in 2024.
World Trigger, right?
No.
Damn it.
In February, Cypher Academy seems to have released their last chapter.
So I stopped following it when at one point they're like, I don't know if we can correctly translate this. My problem with Cypher Academy is actually largely, and this is kind of a weird thing to say because it's not really a critique, but it is, is it was kind of defeated by a language barrier. The idea that I'm in a puzzle school using puzzles to puzzle, I'm using blank at a blank school to blank, I've read 30 times.
Right.
If it has the word academy, it's the same basic premise. But I couldn't get into the puzzles.
Right, because we didn't understand them.
I remember a while back, I was reading a manga forever ago, cannot remember the name, but it's about a guy who was basically in gambling school who had to gamble enough money to win back his parents' fortune from gambling school, and every chapter was him scamming someone with a new scam. There's some boxers, I have perfect dynamic accuracy, and I can see how the dice land. It's like, you fool, I also do. It's like, no, he didn't, you fool. He made you stare at it so he could switch out the dice and win your $1 million. But
that's not Liar Game, is it?
Maybe. Liar Game is a similar idea. I think I'm thinking of something else, but might have been Liar Game. But you get the idea of new character rolls up at MacGuffin Academy and then is the best at that MacGuffin to then defeat the MacGuffin. And it's like a wants to be combat but isn't. I definitely read a card game one that wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh! That had a similar premise. And no immediate other examples come to mind, I guess Classroom of the Elite. But that was my thing with Cypher Academy. It's okay, you need to use your puzzle powers to puzzle to beat the puzzles. But I don't understand the puzzles. Maybe I'm dumb. I don't know. According to some paperwork I got I'm actually really smart. But these puzzles meant nothing to me.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a language barrier because the written languages between English and Japanese are so different that it's with Undead Unluck. There's the language Uma, and they're playing that game where you link the last.
I remember that chapter specifically, and I don't know why.
Yeah, so they link the last letter to the first letter of the next word, but if you end with a certain Japanese syllable, you lose instantly.
And they started using different languages?
Yeah. I was like, wow, it's an interesting concept, but I absolutely cannot follow what's actually going on.
Thankfully, it's Undead Unluck, and it's hit JoJo levels of sure, why not? My reaction to every chapter of Undead Unluck for the last 30 chapters has been, sure, why not? Why not? I don't see a problem here. Why not have it go this way? Sure.
In any event, Cypher Academy only made it to chapter 58.
Or 1/8 of Roboco. So another thing that isn't definitively ended, but I just enjoy talking about, if Kaiju number 8 goes out in the next 10 chapters, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
They did all the things. Like, I gave this speech probably, like, I don't know, half a year ago of, okay, either they're wrapping up or they're heading to the Act 1 time skip, and I'm fine with that. Something good can just end before it comes bad.
Yeah, I mean, all sources seem to indicate that it is transitioning towards the end and not a time skip, but who knows?
I mean, I would read Kaiju number 9 about their kid. Great.
But so it looks like February was a big month for series ending.
Like, I know
because
that didn't quite... Oh, go ahead.
Well, Haikyuu, the volleyball game, seems to have ended with its second epilogue chapter,
I'm going to be perfectly clear
402.2.
about Haikyuu on this podcast. I know a lot of people who absolutely love Haikyuu.
Okay.
Ride or die Haikyuu. Haikyuu is amazing. And I understand why. It's an anime with no angst. It is angst-free.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the anime, but it turns out reading volleyball just isn't really my thing. But it's good. It's just not for me.
Makes sense. That one, yeah, 402.2. Then Martial Arts Master Asumi. That one definitely got canceled. They just had this plot arc and and we're done. What?
Well, what happened was he went straight to the final boss and fought him. It's like, okay. That one is funny. It could have either went 1,000 chapters or 60, depending on how they paced it. Right?
Well, it only got to chapter 32.
Yeah, because he's like, I need to train to fight my brother. I fought my brother. Okay.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Good story. It was a Rocky movie. I enjoyed it. Literally, if you were to adapt it, it'd probably be the length of a Rocky movie. About that much stuff happened.
Not a lot happened.
I mean, that's what they get for putting a strong female lead in a show and jump show. Had no
At least
chance.
she got her emotional resolution.
And she didn't really need any, though. She was badass at her thing and proceeded to be badass at her thing.
I mean, that's true, but, just...
It's annoying
Anyways.
because, it's like someone listened to my episode on History's Strongest Disciple, Kenichi, and all my complaints, and fixed most of them in that.
Right.
And it turns out that if something's good and I like it, it'll just get canceled anyway, so I have hope. Dreams. Because it's like, what if Mew didn't suck inexplicably? Because my biggest complaint in Kenichi was Mew sucked inexplicably. They're like, we wrote this character to be badass, and we'll refuse to ever let them be badass. Because gender snipes. Japan. This is why you're going extinct.
Next thing that ended in February 2024 was Jiangxi X.
So, it's weird. I gave it 30 chapters before I dropped off, and it didn't do anything wrong. I don't know what it did to deserve my score, and to be honest, I think it just wasn't quite good enough.
It was very generic.
It felt like it was Demon Slayer, and Demon Slayer's like, isn't that the best anime of all time? I'm like, no, it's Inuyasha without the romance. Like, what are we doing here? Oh man, I got such a dirty look when I told a good friend of mine that Demon Slayer is just Inuyasha without the heart. Like, but Tanjiro and his sister, it's like, yeah, he's just whining. It's not that bad. She's still alive. She didn't get Nina'd. Like, chill. She literally got fridged. Oh, anyway. But yeah, long story short, what are your thoughts on that one, if any?
I mean, it was a fun read, but they're...
Hot take, I think it was objectively better than Shaman King. It's like, it wasn't good enough to keep me reading it, but it's been better than things I completed. It just was against the fact that I had read better things.
And
Exorcist poisoning, man.
they introduced the big bad like pretty much right at the very beginning, and then just like boss rushed their way to it. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna have a time skip. They come back super badass, and
It was
then they can
basically the
just beat the
plot of
final
Demon
boss.
Slayer in its speedrun Demon Slayer.
Yeah. So I mean, like I say, I liked it. I enjoyed the art style, and it had I liked it conceptually, but it just didn't really do anything special.
I think its problem too is it aired during exorcism season, where this entire magazine was exorcists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
As I
but
pour one
then we
out for Mama Yui.
move on to March, where nothing technically ended, but it looks like Akira Toriyama passed away in March, and so the last chapter of Dragon Ball Super was released.
Dragon Ball Super's in a weird state, right? Because it went on a strong hiatus for the manga, and the Dragon Ball Super manga was always weird. Because what bugged me is a manga changed some things and then say other things were canon in like it's weird. It's a manga that assumes you're watching an anime, but also contradicts the anime. Like, it'll literally be like, and here's our take on Zamasu. Also, Broly happened exactly as it did in the movie. And I'm like, but that should be impossible because you changed the other things.
Yeah.
But, like, the form it was in before, when it comes back, it will not be the same. That's just all there is to it. Since it cannot be the same, I'm going to say it ended, and we're basically getting Dragon Ball Super Shippuden.
And then another somewhat interesting one, which the author appears to have been plagued with health issues, is Ghost Reaper Girl.
So Ghost Reaper Girl, I want to throw shade at, because if it's so obviously inspired by Bleach Syndrome, but I kind of liked it. It's like, I like to make the quip, it's like, can we have a female character have any form of empowerment in manga? And they're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's just too bad that it's on indefinite hiatus, and I don't even know what the condition of the author is now. I mean, maybe they actually passed away. I'm not sure.
I just couldn't believe that it aired in a magazine with Soul Reapers and it was called Ghost Reaper Girl. Like it was so painful. Like, it was a unique series. But, like, oh man. Also, Bleach isn't the thing it rips off. It's Blue Exorcist, like, line for line. But also, much like Jiangxi, didn't actually do anything wrong. I kept up with it till it passed away.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's never going to get a conclusion.
Which is the worst, I think. I don't know. Please continue your list, because you prepared for today like a champ.
Well, so then in April, we had Mama Yuyu.
So...
only 29 chapters.
I want to quote a line from Star Trek The Lower Decks, which also ended this year. Rest in peace, Star Trek Lower Decks. You were so good. So there's a line where a character is in a multiverse jumping spaceship, meeting alternate reality versions of Star Trek characters, and gives like a 5-minute rant about how much he hates the multiverse, because instead of exploring new ideas, it's just the same crap remixed, and he was so mad about it. But then it ends with like no, there's beauty in the different variations and da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, Mama Yui's like, look at her weird multiverse premise. I'm like, okay. Multiverse isn't popular anymore. Missed your shot. Should've came out earlier.
Yeah, that's true. If they had come out like in 2022, if they had started 2022 instead of 2023, they probably would have hit a better stride.
Because, like, I'm not going to say I dropped out of it because it started, like, from chapter 1, the moment they're like, alternate reality, da-da, I'm like, eh. And not because it did anything wrong, it's just been done to death.
Right.
Alright, what do you got next for us?
2 on Ice. That also ended in April.
Didn't see it.
2 on Ice? That was the figure skating one.
Yeah, read the figure skating one.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, it is ironic that openly bisexual Richard did not read the figure skating one, and aggressively straight Karl did. That's funny.
Aggressively straight?
You're from Saskatchewan. They don't like gay people there.
Hey, the Australian guy who I was wondering about his sexual identity the other day, a while back. I don't know if I actually mentioned him on the podcast.
Probably shouldn't. But I what's annoying is we're recording this and I need to know the answer, so I'm making you answer and out this random person on this podcast.
Oh no, he's comfortable with his own sexuality.
Oh, fine. Oh, that's good then.
And he is definitely gay.
Okay. So on one hand, you are right. On the other hand, I hope you took my advice of don't ask your employees about their sexual identity, for the love of God, Karl.
I didn't ask him about his sexual identity. He asked me about immigration, and they gave me so much more information about his life story than I needed to know to be able to help him immigrate.
You know, fair enough. All right. And you didn't immediately go, and I'm deporting you because you're gay. Because I do think I'd have to wrap up our podcast here, and we'd have to have a serious talk.
But
see, that's what the difference between commas and periods. It's I'm deporting you, full stop. You're gay, full stop. Not I'm deporting you, comma. You're gay.
You gotta get the right punctuation.
The right punctuation makes it no longer a hate crime.
But so yeah, 2 on Ice figure skating. For some reason I thought you kept up on that one, but I guess not.
Yeah, you think I would, but no. Was it good?
I mean,
should it have died? You know what? I'm going to put a special rule for the end of this episode. When we get to the end, we each get one wish for a show that would come back.
I wouldn't say that 2 on Ice deserved to die, but I also don't really see how far the premise could actually go, because it's basically amateur figure skater that mimicked a famous figure skater actually gets to meet with her and be 2 partners.
That's cute. That does sound like a thing I'll probably read at some point.
Yeah, it's a cute love story kind of thing.
I'm low-key mad that Sakamoto Days got an anime. Anywho, what's next on your list?
I think Kaguya-sama was a vault chapter, or did it actually run?
It was a vault chapter, but I will say, best ending I've seen in a manga in a long time.
Huh.
It was, yeah, I'm gonna say it. Its ending was Full Metal Alchemist good. It was a consistent comedy that actually. So you know, a lot of comedies paralyze the status quo.
Right.
Every character in that had an arc, and like. So you know how I deeply hate love triangles because they're stupid?
Right.
Kaguya-sama managed to go its entire runtime, love triangle 3, free, with just 2 leads so close, but not quite ready to take a step, and then it ends with them taking the step satisfyingly. I'm like, good! This is a good slow burn romance. You didn't pad it with any bullshit. Good job, 10 out of 10. Retire proud.
But so next on the list that actually did end, very unsatisfyingly, and only made it chapter 19, was Shadow Eliminators.
Good, be dead.
Yeah, that was just the most generic of generic Exorcist mangas.
Not only was that the most generic, I feel like it came out with like, yeah, the same week as the there's a Kyoto Necromancer one. The same week!
Kyoto Necromancer survived a few more chapters, but so that was in April. Then in June, Green Greens.
That's still coming out.
Well, I'm pretty sure those are vault chapters. I think they released them.
Took like a random hiatus and then came back for a bit, and I actually don't know if it's ended.
I think they release vault chapters in conjunction with certain Takabon releases, like the physical book releases in Japan.
June 26th.
Oh.
So it is
okay.
over.
All right.
I really liked it. It was the basic premise of Mega Man X. Yeah, I liked that.
Fair enough.
No further notes. You gave me a Mega Man Zero manga without the Capcom cheesiness of it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Like, the premise is just so good. Human girl protected robot uncle. Done.
The chapters they have on the Shonen Jump app don't go all the way to the end yet, so we'll see.
Well, I get to look forward to that.
But Green Greens, the golf one that I didn't read, but you did.
I liked it because of the same rant I just gave about Kaguya-sama of, if you're going to give me two characters in a will they won't they relationship built over a mutual shared interest with mild hatred, I vibe with that. I enjoy the idea. It's like we're both passionate about this thing, so it's like we win each other over through hard work and effort and golf. I can get behind that. Like,
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for a Rock Lee, right? Like, he's like, anytime a character like works themselves till they start drawing blood to be good at a thing, I can respect it. So, all in all, would I recommend it to anyone? No. Would I use Shenron to bring it back? No. Did I enjoy it? Yeah.
Then also in June, this one only made it to chapter 17. I was a little bit sad. I thought it had a lot of potential, but Dear Anemone.
So,
Anemone?
that series really made me think of Hell's Paradise like a lot. And it's like, I'm not surprised it didn't live in Shonen Jump because it was like too dark and edgy. And it's like, yeah, like it was very interesting. And probably could have used a bit more time to see if it was going somewhere.
I agree. But so then we move on to July, where Kaiju number 8 B-side did its last chapter.
We already talked about Kaiju number 8. If it ends now, I'm satisfied with it. Probably hits my top 10 manga, honestly. It did nothing wrong. It's like, it was a good example of Saitamaing your way in a show by giving your character compelling other stakes.
Right.
Because, like, yeah, he gets to tie up most of the bosses. And they actually threw him in jail and tried to execute him for it. Because, like, I hate the bully the superpower kid trope. But I do appreciate that, no, this guy is a Godzilla and we should probably put him down unless he can control being Godzilla.
Yeah, that makes sense. But so then in August, it looks like we got the last chapter of My Hero Academia.
People were so miserable about that. They released another epilogue, and then people were still miserable about that.
Yeah, it looks like they didn't do the point 1 or point...
Academia.
Looks like they didn't bother with point 1 or point 2 of chapter 430, though. They just had more chapters.
So, to spoil the end of My Hero Academia, I'm going to start off with a question to you. What was Deku's motivation? What did he actually want to do?
Didn't he just want to be a hero like All Might?
Want to be a hero like All Might, right?
Yeah.
Over the course of the story, he gets 30 superpowers, then loses all his superpowers. He ends the series as a teacher, and then they build him an Iron Man suit.
Oh.
He learned nothing. He is the same character. He learned nothing from the story of My Hero Academia. Because, like...
That's funny.
He beats the villain by using his superpowers. And then, like, there wasn't a lesson like, oh, you could have been a hero with no powers. They don't give him that. Right? Like, they don't give him a final fight where he... Like, they don't let him do the Edward Elric final fight of, I'll just beat God to death.
Right.
He, like, doesn't do anything heroic or learn anything. He just broke his body repeatedly till he beat up the bad guy and then got an Iron Man suit, which wasn't even, like, a side plot. I would have been so happy if the plot of My Hero Academia from episode 1 was Deku builds an Iron Man suit and keeps upgrading it over the show because he has no superpower. That would have been an immensely better manga, is if he was Batman in Superman's universe. But no, it was just contrived bullshit. Bullshit. He's like, oh, I have to sacrifice... Here's the bit. So in the final fight, the win con against the bad guy was he had to sacrifice each of his superpowers one at a time to break the bad guy's superpowers.
Right.
The problem with that is giving up your superpowers would only really have emotional stakes if he started with them. Right? So he has no powers. He's given all the powers, and then he acquires even more powers. Then he gives up those powers.
Right.
There's no arc there. Like, it's not like he cut off his arm. He was given a freebie and then used the freebie and is now a hero. That'd be like if I won $1,000 and then gave $1,000 to charity. I'm not that good a person in that circumstance.
Yeah.
I'm at best neutral. Ugh. And then they like did a shipping thing and then a not shipping thing, and people were like, they didn't pair up all the teenagers who are now adults. I'm like, whatever.
I don't know if this actually counts, but also in August, they released the last chapter of My Hero Academia Team Up Missions.
the My Hero Academia Vigilante spinoff was actually pretty good? Not related.
Yeah. I think that one ended in 2023, though.
That was by far the best chapter of My Hero Academia. Like the side story spinoff with a character who so his moral thing is he wanted to go to hero school and missed the entrance exam because he was saving someone's life and now has to live on the street being a freelance superhero.
Yeah,
it's oh, you're too heroic to make it into hero school, so now you're going around committing petty acts of kindness, trying to not get arrested. That's great. So much
then next move on to September, where Kyokuto Necromance already got mentioned once because it started coming out the same week as Dear Anemone.
See our exact comments on Shadow Eliminators from our thoughts on Kyoko Necromance. Unless you have any other hot takes.
The ending made absolutely no sense. It brought no closure to the series.
I'm fine with that because it never had any opening either. It's just bad.
Anyways. Yeah, it looks like Twin Star Exorcist is the next one to end on September 3rd.
I'm noticing a theme. It's like all the Exorcists all used up all the oxygen and they all burned out.
Yeah, well...
It's almost like having 6 Exorcist series in your manga collection somehow backfired.
Yeah, that one is a really, really weird one because there's this forced romance that doesn't really grow that organically over the course of the show, but somehow at the end of it, they're completely in love and have a child together.
Well, this might be a culture thing. Might not So I'm anti-arranged marriage because I love freedom, choice, not subjugating people, joy. I don't like that. Ugh. It's so the idea that we're forcing these two characters to spend time together, and then when they're forced to spend time together, they organically fall in love. Works if you do it organically. The romance arc of we're telling them they have to get married, they rebel against it, they hate it, and then they, because of their mutual hatred of it, end up falling in love. There's something that could happen there. But it didn't.
No, they definitely just fully accepted that was what they were supposed to do eventually.
And also, the characters both had this personalities of a brick. Tell me about either of the protagonist's personalities, I dare you.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yep. I'm fine with all these exorcists dying.
Shoujo no. Now that's a good one they got. I was surprised by that one.
So how did you feel about its ending?
Well, I can't tell if it was forced to end or if that's actually the full story that the author was trying to tell.
Which is a good problem to have. That means they did their job pretty well.
It's it was really the basic premise of a human helping a robot destroy humanity.
Seems like something I would write, let's be honest.
That's
concerningly up my alley.
How committed to the bit can they be? And it turns out that they were pretty much 100% committed to the bit.
Basically, GG.
Basically, once the human companion died, the robot just went and killed pretty much everybody. Or rather, they had a large-scale war, and that eventually ended with negotiation and peace talks, and the robots being recognized as sentient and whatnot. But
yeah, no, I just support that entire manga. And if it chose to go out on its own terms, good for it.
Then there's one. This is probably top on my list of what I would actually revive, but on September 8th, the last chapter of Psych House got released.
So I gave this rant a few weeks ago when talking about Psychic Detective Chosuro, and I was also talking about the new series, Brains Eluding Me, the detective one, which will come back to me later in name. And the problem with Psych House, and why it died, and basically committed suicide, it forgot to set up stakes in the first 17 chapters. It just introduced superpower people with no antagonistic force whatsoever.
I really felt like there was a slow burn and then they were going to get somewhere, but then
They
It's
need to
just
at least hint at it. Like, you at least need a dude in a trench coat in the background of a scene or something.
I guess a foible of publishing weekly in a magazine is that the true slow burn series are just not.
Well, also, people got ADHD over the last 30 years. Like,
Yeah,
I was watching
so
a different podcast, because other podcasts exist, spoilers. And they were
Mm.
talking about how, like, it's such a boomer comment to make, but all modern anime try and get the character to fight God within 100 chapters.
Mm.
And it's like, yeah, no, they really do. Like, you go to Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's like, no, we're going to fight the most powerful thing in the universe by chapter 80. Gotta go, go, go. We don't have time for this shit.
Gotta go.
But yes, we'll see if we get to the end of the list if your wish changes, but right now you wish to revive Psycheps.
I do. Yeah. I mean, it kind of has a spiritual
like,
successor, but
it's a weird thing is I like the characters, but it forgot to have a plot.
that is fair.
Like, him making, like, he had a fun power set. Like, there's a lot that could have happened there.
But the next on the list that ended in September is JJK.
So they had to release a second ending because the first ending didn't hit hard enough. So JJK's weird, right? Because, like, it makes perfect sense that the final boss was the boss from the first chapter and defeats Sukuna and series. But I was waiting for there to be a twist, and there just kind of wasn't one. Like, the whole culling game went nowhere.
Yeah, Geto just died, and Sukuna just got murked. Well, eventually, anyways.
I made the comment a while back of what I thought was going to happen, and I'm shocked I was wrong. Where, like, they defeat Sukuna, but the merge happens, and the final boss is cursed Tengen, who absorbs all the dead people into some horrifying thing, and, like, stuff happens. It's like, the ending was so meh, I almost wanted JJK Shippuden, where they do, like, a time skip, and then, like, keep going, because it just didn't feel impactful enough.
Yeah.
It's weird, but, like, Sukuna kind of felt like a punk, because they had 10 people jump him, and none of those people actually died to him.
Yeah, that's true. Nobody actually died to Sukuna.
Like, Sukuna was a punk.
Sukuna.
Bloodshooty guy got more kills. Yuji got more kills, technically. But yeah, then they're like, another epilogue to be like, we'll show that Yuta ends up awesome. Like, Yuta wasn't even your protagonist.
He should have been, though.
Not really. Yuta was like the weirdest self-insert fic moment. Like, there's like selling out your characters, right? Imagine you're watching Bleach.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, you know what? Who's really cool? Toshiro. And then you just shift to Toshiro in the middle. And then have a Toshiro flashback manga. And be like, yeah, Toshiro is cooler. I'm like, but that's not what you wrote. You don't get to be like, oh, my character I wrote in the beta, in the pitch was better than the one I ended up going with, better switch back. And there's no logical reason he should have had copy powers. Also, Yuji's mom being Kenjaku never did anything. I hate secret lineage as a plot point. They did that for Yuta too, of, oh, he is actually from a... I hate secret lineage as a plot point more than anything of, ooh, my parents were special, so I get to be special. That is the opposite of the point of most of these shows. What is truly unforgivable, though, is having the main villain be your mother, and that meaning nothing. He didn't fight Kenjaku! He never met Kenjaku! I think I peeked my mic on that one. The idea that Yuji never actually met Kenjaku.
I don't know if he ever did or not.
No, he didn't. Yuji had nothing to do with the stakes of his show. He was the most passive character in his own series. But you're right. Had the series just followed Yuta the entire time, he would have been the better protagonist. But we spent the entire first 100 chapters following Yuji. Sorry.
Well, and see, what really confused me was I read Chapter 0 as Chapter 0. And so, I see Yuta, and then suddenly Yuta's just gone for 150 chapters. And then he shows up again, and he just randomly has copy powers, and he's a super badass that pretends to kill Yuta, and he's like, what?
Man,
or pretends to kill Yuji.
Having a demon bride with a cursed sword is cooler. Less is more, guys. Less is more. It's like, they're like the Yuji. I gave him punches that separate souls and blood claws, and apparently I can punch someone's flashbacky thing. I'm like, you kind of set that up, but also, no. Just no. No flashback punch for you. You don't need a flashback
And
punch.
I think the only other series that ended in 2024 was just one second here. Almost there.
World Trigger, right? Please tell me it's World Trigger. Or Hunter x
No.
Hunter, even better.
Yokai Buster Murakami.
Pass. Deserve to die. I will not cry at its funeral.
I found it genuinely amusing, but also, like...
You also will not be crying at its... You're not going to pay $200 to fly out to its funeral. Come on.
I am not.
Is Witch Watch done yet?
I don't think so.
It's just dead to me.
Although, I mean, maybe it is. Because I haven't actually seen it on the list for a while.
So I think our follow-up's going to be...
Oh.
I think we'll dive in quickly to things that are currently going, and then wrap up the episode.
Witch Watch is on chapter 156, and there's a new chapter coming in 11 days.
Nice. So, let's go with new things that have started that are like under 30 chapters that have come in to replace what has died. So, Shinobi Undercover. Have you been following that one at all?
Oh, yeah, that one's a good one.
Oh, yeah. It's basically the premise of Full Metal Panic, but they can't get away with having guns anymore.
Yeah, okay.
I stand by it. Like, the joke of Full Metal Panic was soldier kid in school, super good at military, socially awkward, and they kind of like... It's like Gen Z Full Metal Panic, and I like Full Metal Panic. Don't like Gen Z, but get what you get.
Another series that I was talking about, I wished for it to be Psych House.
Yeah, we already talked about Psychos.
No. This Shiba Inu Rooms.
I don't even
feel
think
like
it's
it's gonna
Shonen
get...
Jump. I think it's just some weird webcomic.
I don't know.
But it doesn't...
I really enjoy it too. I think it feels kind of like it's having that same kind of slow burn that Psych House was having, and I'm like excited to see where things actually end up going.
Like, it feels like it's a webtoon, not a manga, weirdly. Like, you know what I mean, right? Like, it feels like I'm reading one of those 4-comic gag strips, which I'm giving it a lot more leeway because it's not trying to be serious. Like, I don't know. It's fun.
I think it's very cute, wholesome, and fun.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about Psych House, which is why Shiba Inu, and it seems like it's actually gonna like go somewhere.
And then Super Psychic Policeman Chozo was made for me specifically. There's a bit where he just enters Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, reads minds, and loses. That's funny. And it's trying to fill the Gintama energy of being the series in Shonen Jump that's allowed to make fun of the other series in Shonen Jump.
Yeah, I mean, it's 45 chapters in, and it has no consistent plot, though.
Yeah, but he's going to straight up Kamehameha somebody at some point. It's going to make me happy.
Fair enough.
Like, he's going to say the words Kamehameha. Like, usually in Shonen Jump, there's always some kind of Gintama where it's like, this series literally exists to riff on the other things in our magazine.
Ooh. For a series under 30 chapters, I am loving Astro Baby.
Astro Baby! Like, we were talking a bit about that one with the evil plant earlier. Name's eluding me right now.
Dear Menemine?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say
kind
that
of art
word.
style of deeply upsetting. Astro Baby is deeply upsetting, and it can stay because it is deeply upsetting. I'm going to bump up the chapter count a bit and go to Astro Royale. I'm surprised it's still alive.
Well, I mean, gangsters are kind of a unique concept, and although the show isn't really about gangsters...
It's like how One Piece isn't really about pirates, it's about sailors, and Naruto is not about ninjas. It's kind of like that. Like, it's gangster-themed, not gangster.
Exactly. And it's like, now they're in some sort of big tournament, and it's like, they're going to see more cool and interesting powers and political struggles. And
you know what it makes me think of the most, actually? It makes me think of how Black Clover is just Naruto but wizards, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're Astro Royale, you're just Naruto but Yakuza.
Naruto but Yakuza, yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm not going to execute it over it, but I'm surprised it's still going. I'm low-key mad New
mm,
Exorcist is still going. I know it's above our chapter limit, but I would cancel that to bring back Psych House. Easy. Easy trade.
oh, another really bizarre series, Bug Eco.
That I am compelled as all I'm going to use it. I'm compelled as fuck by that. What is happening? Where is this going? Are they in a simulation? Are we in a simulation? What is how many drugs is this man on? Oh, I made my torso longer and now I eat peas and I keep eating them till I get sick and it's fucked up. Oh man, I dropped 2 F-bombs. Shit is wild. I don't know if I can call it good.
Sorry.
It's just wild.
Well, I mean, we'll see whether or not it's actually good, but it is certainly very it's very unique.
Yeah. No, it gets a pass. Like it needs to get at least I feel like it needs 50 chapters to even understand what the fuck. I use 3 F-bombs. Like it is baffling. I am loving it, but it makes JoJo's look insensible. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is easier to follow.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, so just as a random side note, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 was re-released weekly for the past 158 weeks, I guess. And that actually did also come to an end in 2024.
It's so much better in the next part. So much better.
I mean, that's more of a re-release, so it doesn't really count.
Let's be honest. JoJo's has a magic trick going where it can go forever. It's a good magic trick. It's called switching your entire cast, paragraph, setting, and plot to last forever. It's basically Orochimaru's exact tactic. Alright, so another series I've been really enjoying, even though, so as much as I dunk on, fan servicey bullshit anime, Sid Craft is wholesome and it makes me happy. There's some scenes that made my eyes roll over, but I'm like, okay, he's just dumb, and it's adorable.
Yeah.
It's it's not a love triangle, it's a polycule of idiots. So, first off, we got the detective who just wants to be in a romance manga, which is already funny.
Right.
Stumbling into cases because he's doomed to do so. He genetically inherited being Sherlock Holmes. Which is, the best way to do the Saitama is be like, I don't actually want my superpower at all, and it actively works against my interests. I'm on a date, crap, it's a serial killer, of course it is. Then, because he's socially awkward, he applies for an assistant who he can't hit on because he'd be uncomfortable and he's unsmooth with women. The assistant takes that to mean, who is the romance author who's writing the romances he's addicted to, which are about him in a perfect circle. That is genius. That is amazing. And then there's just a himbo detective to balance it out. That is perfect flow going on. Him and the himbo detective's like, oh yeah, we need to nail this dance competition because it's a dance competition. And he's like, oh no, my one weakness, being in a rom-com. And then his assistant's lounge singing on the stage because their one weakness, being in a rom-com. And everyone's weakness is that they're in the wrong genre, but are actually completely competent.
Sid Craft is a great series.
So even though I'm like, stupid anime fan service bullshit, I'm like, but it's compelling. It's very compelling. Like I said, it's not a love triangle, it's a bunch of idiots. And that's what's making it work. There's no angst anywhere. Also, they from episode 2 are and then the Fiendcraft organization made me kill my sister. I'm like, oh right, there's some really dark shit going on in the background. This guy was just chopping off people's legs to offer to his paralyzed daughter's grave. That just happened in the background of this rom-com.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, that's true.
I'm like, what's happening in the background of this rom-com? Actual serial killing? Okay. So Sid Craft can definitely get into being a serious series.
Well, yeah, now they're on the cruise ship, and there's another bomb on board, and it's connected to the person who's right beside his assistant.
Right? There's layers going on. You know what it is? It's Spy Family has terrible release schedule and pacing. I love the idea of Spy Family, but it comes out too slow to be invested. This is like the best parts
Right.
of Spy Family. Like, I actually love a good whodunit, caper, high stakes, where's the bomb, fake. Like, I don't know how the idiot writing this romance story is actually also writing a good detective story, because those are hard. But, like, there's a few times where it's, like, super obvious, and a few times, like, oh, you got me. Because, like, the good detective story is you, the viewer, get to piece it together just early enough to be like, come on, guys, you almost got this.
Right.
Yeah, no. Ride or die for Sid Claft.
We'll see how you feel next year, but
Yep. Then to
so
series
far it
that
is a
have no
highlight.
reason to exist but are kind of wholesome. Hema 10. That there's just two characters who should be dating, and I'm not really sure what the problem is.
Well, the problem is that the main character thinks he should be dating his uh, school crush.
Ugh. Just pure love triangle. I hate myself that I read this every week.
It is somehow cathartic to watch these people struggle through their romantic lives.
Ugh. It's everything I just said Sidcraft was good for, it's bad at. Because, like, yeah, no. You just marry. Like, you've solved it. You guys should be able to figure this out. It's pretty straightforward. It's a math equation where x equals 1. What is x plus x? It's 2, Karl. It's 2.
I never could have figured that out.
Next up, Ichi the Witch. Eh.
It's not really doing anything particularly interesting.
So, hot take. You make a superpower system where women get superpowers, and then you give a man the best superpower. What are you really saying?
Yeah, it is a very bizarre premise.
Well, it's not even a bizarre premise. You're just not doing anything with it. Like, so when you have a character be like, you can go the route of everyone bullies me because I'm 6 feet tall with perfect skin and orange hair. And I'm like, what? Why are they bullying you? I don't understand. For this one, I'm like, the protagonist has no actual emotional hardship. So why would I give a shit about him? It's not like they're doing some like crazy gender politics. Look how much he has to suffer for being a trans person. No, they're not doing that. They're not going like
No.
even Ralma and a half was more ambitious of at least the character gets splashed with water and it has repercussions because then they get hit on. So at least that had something to say. This doesn't have anything to say at all about anything. And I think I skipped Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi because see earlier comments about every Exorcist series.
Yeah. Right now he's in a training arc because he was not ultimate enough yet, I guess.
I like that show better when it was called Blue Exorcist. I like that better when it was called D Gray Man. I like that better when it was called Yu Yu Hakusho, and I like that better when it was called Dragon Ball Z.
You liked D Gray Man more than you liked Blue Exorcist?
Nah, it's just more like Blue Exorcist exists because D Gray Man exists. It's like they cook so much of it. Technically, I would throw all of those in the fire to get like a Trigger Studios animated Soul Eater rehash that does the actual plot. Soul Eater was great, and then Fire Force decided to shove a bunch of fan service in, and Soul Eater had none of the character. Soul Eater could have been good. It just needs to do my anime rule of age up all your characters by 4 years across the board for every anime, and all of them are better and less people go to jail.
Less people do go to jail when the characters are appropriately aged.
Next up, Kagura Banshi. It's chapter 63. It's great. It's just good. It is by far the best weekly thing in Shonen Jump.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like, yeah, no, it's like, oh, look at my complex, well-written setting where people do things that make rational sense and fights are cool and power system is reasonable. And, oh yeah, the blind swordsman who was a war hero known as the Massacre, when we gave him his super weapon back, turned out to be sketchy. Like, that was the least shocking dramatic twist of all time, and I was so here for it. Because the character's just like, did you think there was a reason we took away their super weapons? I'm like, oh yeah, right.
I am quite curious what exactly it is that they quote-unquote covered up.
Right? But, like, it made so much sense to be like, yeah, we have the sword bearers and the swords separated after the war. We gave the sword bearer back the sword. Maybe we shouldn't have did that. Maybe there's a reason.
Yeah.
People were just being lame. Maybe the death swords corrupt people in some way. There's a thought. Like you watched it do to the guy last week. That's a good plot twist, by the way. You literally watch Baron von Auctionhall go mad holding one of the swords, and then you give a sword to a dude. It's like, oh, right. The swords might be rigged.
Yeah, with their like eternal contract and whatnot. That's like, what? Wow.
Right? Then Spy Family, like I said, would be better if it came out more frequently. It's a petty complaint, but like, I would like it more, but like, it's moving so slow. And the current plot is so interesting, but it'll be like 3 years before we get any clarification as to whether or not there's aliens. Which could go either way, and I'm happy for that. I am shocked Rory Dragon's still alive.
Well, I think the author also had health issues and stopped publishing for a while. But yeah, now they seem to have come back, and I'm here for all these like cute, wholesome, and like fun series.
Well,
like I like slice of life.
Discovered something about us. Good action we enjoy more than slice of life, but we enjoy slice of life better than mediocre action. So it's like if we ask what our favorite things are, it's probably Chainsaw Man, Kaiju, and Kaguyabushi.
Yeah.
Feel free to add the title I missed in there, but I think that's my top 3 in Show and Jump right now.
I would say so too. I think those are excellent.
Then we skip all the medium stuff that are like action comedy hybrids and just go straight for the comedy by the throat. It's like, okay, if you're going to be in action, be serious, well written, and wild. And if you're going to be derpy, commit to the derp. Like Rory Dragon, just like the new spoiler alert is, oh, apparently she has super strength that no one noticed till today, and that made me happy. Because it's like, she's like, can you lift the rope? Yeah, I guess, but it's kind of heavy just walking with like 100 pounds of rope, and everyone's like, wait, can you lift that? It's like, oh, you yourself haven't realized you have super strength yet.
She has not realized, no.
But one advantage it has over Chozo and Psychos is it left us with a huge mystery, a very active mystery. The fuck is her dad?
Oh man, this is an R-rated episode for sure.
Oh yeah, I went nuts with it. Who would have thought today would be the day? I guess I have strong feelings about anime dying, usually joy. But now that we've made it pretty much near the end of our episode, also Dan is ridiculous. I don't know if it's good. It's just ridiculous.
I would definitely agree that it's one of those series that's just wild, unpredictable, and fun to tune in every week to see what happens next.
Oh yeah, like they also went above and beyond on its animated series, which to be fair is real easy. It has the One Punch Man thing. Remember where I've complained? It's like, how does One Punch Man have the best artist they could possibly find doing One Punch Man? Same problem with Dan. It's like, why is the person drawing a mantis strip with boxer briefs better than the entirety of every series that was on that canceled list for art? Why is the guy you paid money for to do Boruto a worse artist than the Dan guy? Why does Garo versus Saitama have the best fight scene in manga? It is like the prettiest drawn fight scene. They animated it. It was a GIF in the web release. That is insane. And then it's just like, oh yeah, no. We're just going to give our billion-dollar franchises to bad fanfic artists. Anywho, you have been granted a wish to kill one currently running series to resurrect another. Who do you pick? This is subbing in for our random question of the week.
Well, I mean...
Remember, you have to kill one to bring one back.
See, it's a toss-up. Hunter x Hunter needs to die.
It's a mercy killing. It's a kindness.
But, I mean... But then, like, World Trigger is also, like, pretty...
Needs to die.
Something drastic needs to happen to bring that thing back to life, anyways.
I don't know if it's good.
Or Boruto. Like, there's just 3 really strong contenders for worst running series in the, like... I guess I haven't even looked at Roboco. I know that that's going to be your number one pick for what to kill.
No, I can't kill it because I haven't read it. I don't actually know how
Ah,
bad it is. I'm just assuming it's bad this whole time. Because I can only get 3 chapters in, and I'm like, this is just insulting.
well, anyway, those are my top
All
three
right, I'm gonna make
worst
you pick
series currently
one to
running.
kill one to. You know what? If you kill 3, which 3 are you bringing back to take their place?
I actually really did like Mama Yu Yu.
All right. So who are you killing to
Uh,
bring back Mama Yu Yu?
well, I mean, I'm going to kill all 3 of them.
Well, I want to know one for one, just for my own edification.
Well, I mean, I would rather see Mama Yu Yu than Boruto, for
Ooh,
sure.
damn. Boruto shivved right. See, the thing about Boruto is it's so comically bad, I get a weird joy from reading it. Like, I like hating on it. So that's why it's not in my top 3 I'll murder, because I enjoy hating Boruto. Because every week it's like a new kind of bad, and I can text you every week about how mad I am at Boruto. But I respect your choice to kill it. That is reasonable. You made a good equivalent exchange here.
Yeah, Boruto is dying.
What are you trading World Trigger for?
World Trigger. Well, see, that's a tough choice because World Trigger is reasonably well written. It's just stuck in a terrible, terrible spiral.
It's stuck on a loading screen.
You know, as much as I respect Shoujo Null for ending, I would rather see more Shoujo Null than World Trigger.
All right, you got one wish left. So Hunter x Hunter, you're mercy killing, which to be fair, like I've said before, this could be fixed, but he's not going to have the portal guy open the door and have Gon springboard out and punch Asaka in the face. And then we're back on.
He is not.
However, if a door opened and Gon and Killia jumped out and just punched people in the face, and that's how we got out of this plot arc, it could be saved.
Let's see. Well, I think the last series I would actually want to resurrect, I really, really did enjoy Martial Arts Master Asumi.
All right.
Its pacing was a little bit rushed, and he went straight for the final boss, but I don't know, had History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi vibes, and I really enjoyed that.
Very fair. All right, so the first one I'm killing is I am putting down Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi. It does not need to exist. I'm killing it in the crib. I am smothering that baby in a bucket. With the pickle bucket, it's falling into. Has to be done.
Yeah, okay.
And I want to bring back Siren, but I think that's too big of a deep cut. So instead, this is going to be a hot take. I'm bringing back Jujutsu Kaisen and giving it a time skip and following Yuta in Africa. I actually think Jujutsu Kaisen ended too early because Sukuna wasn't satisfying as a final boss. Like, they got the band back together. Now the band needs to do some stuff.
Right.
So I'm actually bringing back JJK, shockingly, for my first resurrection.
Right.
My second straight up murder of running series. I'm probably going to wrap up. Undead Unluck needs to end soon, but I think it's going to do it on its own.
I think so too. So she did just lose her memories.
So I'm going to get rid of News Exorcist.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Because that's added nothing to anything anywhere. And I think I'm going to use that to bring back Duran Duran. I know it's outside of the, expiration date. It's worth it.
Yeah, that would be Dororan.
Yep.
Oh, man, that was such a good show.
It was a
series.
Yep. So, I'm happy to bring that back, even though I'm stretching it a bit. I'm not going wild with it. It's not like I'm trying to bring back Alien Area. And lastly, I am executing... You executed a lot of the ones I wanted dead. I'm really tempted to kill Ichi the Witch to put something better, but I'm going to finish off Witch Watch.
Oh yeah, that definitely needs. I should have put that on my list. That's one of the very few series that I have actually genuinely given up on.
So I'm gonna kill Witch Watch. And it's kind of funny is a lot of things that ended that I liked ended good enough that I don't feel compelled to resurrect them. It's
Mm,
like I don't feel the need to like bring back Mashle or Dr. Stone or do
mm.
retry. Like those can just stay dead.
Yeah, do retry. That was a good one. 2023.
It was, but it can stay dead.
Mm.
You know what would I'm just trying to really think. I don't know. Nothing is immediately coming to mind out of all those series we listed that died that I really want to bring back. I want to bring back Doran Doran because they forced it to end and there was a lot more there.
Right,
You beat me to Martial Master Izumi. Out of like the three punching ones that aired that week, that was the one that gets to live.
right.
I'm not touching Ichino's family deadly sins with a 10-foot pole.
That was a weird series.
It wasn't like the error bug one. There was a weird.
Mm.
Let's see. Definitely not. It's like I'm starting to look through like some of the like scroll back a little further to see if there's anything worth resurrecting. But no, I'm just gonna kill off Witch Watch to also be allowed to kill off each of the witch. I'm just affing to. Because honestly, like I was saying, like even kaiju, I'm like, I'm fine with that just coming to an end. Sometimes
Mm.
you gotta let it die. Kill the past if you have to. I don't know what I'm quoting, but I've heard that line recently.
Mm. Enter the Gungeon?
I don't think so. Although I've been playing a lot of Slay the Spire recently.
Mm.
Not related to anything. But yeah, that's so I think that was our take is Duran killed before its time.
Hmm. Definitely.
If they paste it, oh right, actually hot take. I'm gonna bring back the breaker.
I think there might actually be another season of The Breaker. It's a manhwa, so it's not.
Right,
I
they
have
just
no
don't
idea where
steal
you would
manga
actually read them.
anymore, right? You know what ended that wrapped itself up really nicely, even though it's a bit further back? Maguk-chan, God of Destruction, amused me every week consistently. It wasn't good, but it
Oh
amused me
man,
consistently.
I thought it was excellent personally. Again, it's kind of that slice of life, but like the way that it ended, oh, it was so beautiful.
I wanted Genka and Gluna to be good, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that's one that just got. That one that I said Gil. That was also another weird snow related one that was just like, what is this?
It's so weird when they just double down on arbitrary themes. It's like, well, I guess we're doing the three punchy manga at once to see if one of them survives. Let's
Hmm.
launch 4 Exorcist series. Also, I'd bring back Heart Gear in an instant, but I'd also bump it up to weekly
Mm.
releases.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And with that, thank you for everyone for tuning in to Carl and Richard present Deep Space and Dragons for our Show and Jump Roundup 4. I hope we only did 3 and this is 4. There's just a missing third episode. And remember to floss.
And other forms of self care, because self care is good for you.
Says the writer who stayed up till 4 in the morning every day over Christmas break. Bye.
Bye.
uh yeah, I really thought I'd have more 3 things to resurrect, but I was like going back through the list and I'm like, no, I think I want to do more mercy killing and we need some fresh meat in here. Like, I ain't bringing back shadow eliminators. Absolutely not. It's like the heck with it. I'll just bring back Yu Yu Hakusho.